Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa tamaham vande Paramananda madhavam Paramananda madhavam Paramananda madhavam. Om Vang Me Manasi Pratisthita Mano Me Vachi Pratishthitam Aviravir Mahedhi Vedasya Maanisthaha Shrutam Me Ma Prahasihi Anena Dhitena Ahoratran Sandadhami Ridam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avatu Tad Vaktaram Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punaha Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutam Yatha Nidraya Yat Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Shri Dakshina Murtaye Shri Dakshina Murtaye. Shri Krishna Govind Hare Murare He Nath Narayan Vasudeva Jihve Pibaswamritame Tadeva Govinda Damodara Madhaveti He Krishna He Yadava He Sakheti He Krishna He Yadava He Sakheti He Krishna He Yadava He Sakheti. Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. I hope you all had a very good and blissful Amalaki Ekadashi, and I'm sure you must have done your or sadhana well. All of those who are seekers and who are sadhaks, I'm talking about them. And I hope you could invoke the grace and blessings of Bhagavan Narayana on you on this Ekadashi. We will read verse number 21 of chapter 3, where we left in the last session. We'll read the verse first, and I'll read the Bhashya, and then we'll take up from there. Verse number 21, chapter 3. Yadyadacharati shresthaha tattaddevataro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. Yadyad acharati shresthaha tattaddevataro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's bhashya on the same. Yadyat karma acharati yeshu yeshu shrestha pradhanaha tattad eva karma acharati itaraha anyah janaha tad anugatah kimcha sashrestha yat pramanam kurute laukikam vaidikam va lokah tad anuvartate tad eva pramani karoti tyarthah. Supreme consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, continuing upon the topic of nourishment of the society or world around us, Bhagwan is giving us a methodology of that by saying Shrestha yad yad acharati, meaning in different varying situations, the way great men in our society, they react to such situation, the way they move along such situation, the way they act in such situation, and itaro janaha, meaning those people who are looking up to them. What do you mean by that? All those people who consider that person as a great person in the society, those people, they try to imitate or they try to follow him or her in those the way they have reacted, the way they have acted. They try to follow that and adapt those things into their own life. But the biggest thing you need to remember is the first condition. I also spoke about that in the last session. The first thing is that person whom I need to follow or something, I should consider somebody as a person of great capability, a great person in my eyes, in my vision. Not everyone we follow. There are so many people in the society, we don't follow everyone. The first thing we need to understand is that person who I'm going to follow, I should consider some person as a person of great achievement, a great man in the society. Those people who are not considered great by a person, remember, I will not end up following them in their actions or reactions. Now I have to step back a little and explain you this word follow. Now this is a big question mark. Now in today's world, especially with the advent of social media and all, this word follower has got a very different meaning now. Now I am not talking about somebody's Instagram followers or somebody's Facebook followers or somebody's Twitter or X follow up or things like that. I'm not talking about that at all. Please remember that the word followers in today's is context may have a very different meaning. Remember one thing, in these social media accounts and all, when we follow, yes, also we need to be careful about who we are following. That is a topic I'll pick it up as pick up as we go move along this topic itself. Since I'm on that subject, might as well pick that up also. Remember, I told you in the last session that many a times in considering somebody great, in creating that thought pervasiveness within us, that these are the facets of this person's personality which makes him great. When we accept such things, sometimes our intellect makes some gross error also. That is why it's not that the whole world or each people, everyone in this world who they are following, they are people of great stature or they are great men or no. Please don't consider that at all. And one example I gave was when we consider the film actors or those people who act in the films as heroes. They are hero for that particular film. Why you have to do that classification? Because in a particular film of what, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, you will have somebody acting as a hero and somebody as a villain. That's how the canvas is set. That's how a film is made. You can't just have film without any such classification at all. But the problem where it happens is when we try to consider those people who acted in films as heroes in our life. Now this is where we have to step back and understand. Look at the achievements, not achievements by the way of number of films they've done, what the kind of success they have got and all those things. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not the achievement in the on the canvas. I'm not talking about the achievement on the film screen. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the achievement on the screen. I'm talking about the real achievements in life. In the olden days, you will see, especially if you have some touch with the Sanatan culture, you will know. In the olden days, actually, all the heroes were rishis. Why? Because they have reached a different level altogether. Even today, I'm telling you, there are many people who look up to sannyasis and guru as their ideal. Why? Because they have expanded beyond what a normal human being's capability is. Beyond the capabilities of any normal human being, they've opened what? They have opened their wisdom, they've opened their knowledge, they've opened their understanding. They had a grand vision of looking at the creation. We are all caught up in this maya, and we are considering this entire, what you call that, illuminating in things around the world as real. Whereas those great men, great rishis, they have seen the reality as real and understood that all with what normal people consider as real is nothing but unreal. And they have not only had the vision of the real, they have lived their life dedicated for that purpose of understanding and experiencing that real. They have, living in this world, been able to cut them off, detach them from this unreal world. And I'm telling you, one more thing I'm telling you, it's very easy to say it's unreal world, it's just an illumination, it's just a hallucination, it's just like a desert mirage, it's not real at all. It is easy to say, but when we live in this creation, we know this entire creation is so charming, so fascinating, that it is not easy to get above this. Now then, keeping that in mind, how attractive this creation is, and the things in this creation are, that it is not easy to grow above them, then just imagine the stature of all those great men who have, living in this world, detached themselves from this so attractive unreal things and attached them to the real. See, that is the greatness I'm talking about. One of the things which Taittiriya Upanishad talks about supreme consciousness is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam and Anantam. It is the truth. It is Jnanam. It is the consciousness itself. It is the knowledge. It's that knowledge which is the highest knowledge, so to say. Anantam. It is endless, means infinite. Infinite. So apparently these three attributes are given to the supreme consciousness. So all the great rishis I'm talking about, they have cut them off or detached them from this unattractive unreal world. So I should purposively use that word. I will not say that it's, I never said, or no spirituality says it's very easy to detach yourself from world. Otherwise, why Bhagwan have to give so many verses as, insisting us that, oh, keep your focus on detachment. Why? Because I'm telling you, it's a very slippery road. The road, the path of action is a very slippery road. It is natural to get attached to things when we move around. It is natural. That is one of the reason I said that this creation, and even though it is unreal and false, it is only an illumination, but it is very attractive. And that is the power of Maya. That is why Maya is considered so high. The power of Maya is such, it's not easy to detach. I am telling you small, small things which, come in front of our eyes. Many a times you just sit back, like all those, especially those people who have walked the path of becoming a seeker, they will understand how sometimes many hours, many days, many weeks go by, and then we realize, oh man, my attention got carried away by this thing. I forgot the path I was walking, kind of a thing. It is the power of Maya. So whenever we see such things around, and even for a short span of time, things take away our attention, we only use one word: Vari Mahamaya. You are great. Your power is amazing. It's not it Maya, so to say, it is it is actually dependent on the supreme consciousness, and the power comes from supreme consciousness only. So I told you, there is one sutra in Brahma Sutra which says Prakritischa. Even the Prakriti is Brahman itself. Of course, Brahman is all pervasive. So the power, the attracting power, so that this Prakriti moves on, is also Brahman. That is why this Maya is not easy to go above it. So Bhagavan says, no, oh, Mama Maya Duratyaya. Bhagavan is going to say in Bhagavad Gita himself, Mama Maya Duratyaya. You know, uh, Yomam Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Bhagavan himself is going to say in Bhagavad Gita itself. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse number 14, Bhagavan himself says, Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Bhagavan himself says, it is my Devic power. Maya, it's it is my Devic power, or that Mahamaya, and it is not easy to cross over it at all. Mameva ye prapadyante, the one who hold on to me tightly, Mayam etam tarantite. Those are the one who I help them cross over my Maya. So it is not easy at all the way a Maya is. So the thing you need to understand is, first thing is, I have to accept somebody as superior, somebody as a man of great capability, a man of great vision, a man of greatness in the society. First, I have to accept. Now, the thing we need to remember is, those people who are not great in my eyes, I don't even look at them, forget about following them. So that is one thing which I can completely take off from my list. So the main facet, or the main reason of me to follow someone, is that my intellect should accept somebody as great. First point. And without any doubt, without any question, my intellect should accept somebody's greatness. So meaning that if I have some questions and doubts, I should clarify that then only once those doubts and questions are clarified, then only there will be a clear acceptance by my intellect that this person I can consider as great, and it is going to be completely doubt free acceptance. Let me just say it straight away. Now, uh, you know, it is a natural process that when our intellect accepts somebody as great, I told you in the last session, it will look for those factors which make that person great. Maybe, and I gave you some examples in the last session itself. Maybe he reacts in such a way. Maybe he or she, walks in such a way. Maybe he or she interacts in such a way. Maybe he or she resolves things in such a way. Maybe he or she is accepted by the society around me in such a way. So there are many facets which can be there for accepting somebody as a man of, or person of greatness. So the first facet is, the moment somebody's acceptance of greatness in my intellect had at some doubt, or some questions arise, remember, my following completely stops. Okay, my intellect stops following that person in terms of nature and things. There is an auto stop to this thing which I'm explaining you now, probably there could be a reason that some person was considered as great by my intellect, but after a period of time, and there starts to arise certain doubts about the greatness of such a person. Now, when even though my intellect accepted this person as great at a particular point in time, but the moment some doubt arise about the greatness of this person, or the greatness of this person becomes questionable in my intellect, remember, the process of following this person and becomes auto stop. It's an auto stop in my intellect. Now, the other side of it is that my process of following someone will not even start at if I do not consider somebody as great. If there is no one great in my eyes, remember, I will never follow anyone. See, that is also one side of us we should know. And my quantum or my force of following someone and will depend entirely on the fact that how much great I consider the other person as. So if I consider somebody as really very great, my intellect considers somebody as really very great, and slowly gradually the proof of his greatness is or her greatness starts to increase, remember, my intensity of following will also grow according to the increase is of understanding of this person's greatness. So that is one thing we need to understand. Now, when we deep dive into it then we understand that the process of following, the starting point of me following someone or imitating someone or adapting somebody's behavior, the starting point of that is me accepting the greatness of someone. Greatness means somebody is higher than me accepting somebody at a higher pedestal than me. Okay, that's the first point we need to understand. The next reaction of us is slowly gradually our intellect starts to create a pervasive thought that why this person, what are the factors which make this person great. So I try to collate those information that what are the facets which make this person great. Maybe I'm just giving you example today. Maybe somebody is wealthy, maybe somebody's got a great position, maybe somebody is so much educated, maybe somebody is at a respectable level situation in the society, maybe people in the society accept this person as great. So there are many facets which could be there. Now, those things which this person's intellect or our intellect accept as the cause of making this person I'm considering as great as reaching that greatness, remember, my intellect without doubt will accept and will start following it. This is a nature of all of us. The only fact I tell you is we have to accept somebody as great. Now I'm giving you very very gross example for you to understand, or a negative example, so to say, very easy for you to understand. Now just think, if some child, when child is being she's growing up, some child mistakenly I'm using the word mistakenly, he considers some gangster as great. Now just think what will happen. Then that kid will slowly gradually start at imitating things and will start going the complete wrong path altogether. Now I'm telling you honestly, all the gangsters which are made, or which are young people who are going into such wrong paths and all, it's not that they were taught in school or college like that. It is the mistake in their following which has happened, which has forced them into that path, because what they imitate is what they'll follow, and what they follow is what they will imitate, and they'll start adapting that in their life. How this person act, how this person does, there are many movies to give you that example. I don't have to come to that point at all. You can see why I should give you so much negative example. Other extreme positive example which I want to really elaborate upon is, just think, when a person, and or a student or anyone starts to accept some great saint or guru as great, you see what positive impact that is going to make in the life of this person who accepts that guru as great. Why? Because all those positive attributes this person will try to watch for, will try to adapt in the life. This is how people improve in the society. Why? In one of the episodes of the podcast itself, I told you that the greatest service you know done for mankind are by guru and rishis. Why? Because they are not giving you money for short term gain, or fulfilling your small term needs and desires. No, but they are giving you long term assets for you to cultivate, which is going to help you life after life. That's the greatness of with the contribution of a guru or a great saint towards the society. They impact large number of people with their way they act, way they talk, what they communicate, what they give, disperse as knowledge, everything. They are impacting large number of people in the society around the world, irrespective of where they are. They go and touch the life of people across countries and across borders. That is the greatness of rishis and gurus and all. So if a young person and comes in contact with a guru and slowly gradually gets fascinated by the kind of aura of that person, for that also, even I told you, who coming in close contact of a mahatma or a guru, who needs lot of grace of Bhagwan and also punya in our life. Both things are required. So suddenly that when it fructifies, it will make us meet a guru and we'll start getting fascinated by the way they act, by their aura, by what they speak, what they teach. It starts touching the core of us. The moment it starts touching the core of us, our devotion towards that person also starts to grow. Our faith in that person starts to grow, and slowly, gradually, with that, our attitude to serve that person also comes in us, and all these three things become the greatest things for this person to gain in life in terms of spiritual wisdom. That's how every student and who had been under a guru, served a master, have become a guru themselves after a point in time. It's the greatness of their guru. And of course, by grace of God, they are made to meet each other, and they develop the attitude of faith and service towards the guru, which helps them reach that level. And remember, guru are so great. I'm telling you from my own experience of meeting my own guru, that they are ready to give you everything they have. They are not the one who, like, wealthy people in the society want to give only small portion. As small as possible should be given. Why should I give more? Why do they need more? And all those kind of things. Their gurus are one people who will open their whole wealth for you. And their wealth is what? The spiritual wealth, the wealth of knowledge. I have gained so much from my guru, but I don't think I would have served him anything to gain what I have got. But I told you in the last session also, I personally feel indebted to my guru. And I know that even if I serve him in many lives, dedicating the whole life to him, I don't think I'll be able to repay what I've got from him. So that is the greatness of a guru. And a disciple should start to understand, develop that closeness to a guru. Because the more faith and service we have, Bhagavan himself is going to say in Bhagavad Gita itself, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. At that time, I'll explain you this particular thing. So the thing is, the only problem it creates for us, this habit of us, what creates a problem or becomes a problem for us is when we create a wrong kind of a pervasive thought about accepting someone as great. This, I told you, at intellectual level such kind of mistakes do happen. If we consider some wrong person as great and our intellect accepts that, then remember, our following will also become wrong. Our following will become wrong means we will start following wrong things in life, which are not going to help us grow. Rather, it is going to lead us to going down the path. When this fundamental mistake happens at the time of accepting someone as great, then, and we start following wrong person, or we accept some wrong person as great, and we start following wrong person, those things which we should not adapt in our life, we start following those things which are not going to give us any gain in life, rather which are waste of time and are going to lead us to wrong path. That is where gross mistake happens with this kind of a hidden nature of all of us. All of us have this nature of following such things. Now one example I'll bring out here is, now please listen to this carefully. When we start, now here I'm using one word for a reason, sitting in India or sitting in Bharatvarsha, and following Sanatan Dharma, one mistake which happened and with people of our times, of our olden times, is when we blindly started looking to West for following them. Now remember, I'm using the word blindly started looking to the West when we saw that oh, because they are wealthy and powerful, that means let's accept them as great. That is where a mistake has happened. We did not copy their focus and attention towards action. We did not copy their dedication for action. We did not copy their commitment towards what they are doing. Rather, we just copied what we could see. These things I mentioned we cannot see them. Okay. Now, when such kind of a pervasive thought what has taken over our intellectual space, remember the kind of things we started following is, maybe they are great because of the kind of family values they have. Maybe they are great because of the kind of clothes they wear. Maybe they are great because of the kind of free behavior they have, and probably that is the reason why they have become developed nation. Maybe that is the reason why they have developed in the world so much. Now, because of this mistaken pervasive thought, we had started following wrong things. We have started following such wrong things which have actually negatively impacted our society. I'm using the word pervasively. There are umpteen examples I can bring out. But the thing is, those examples I'll bring out when I have one-on-one sessions with you. At this time I'll bring out something, and then somebody is what do you call that? Taking that one clip of that portion and negatively propagating that, spreading misunderstanding in the society. I don't want to fall into that trap at all. So there are umpteen examples I can give you. The way some examples I can bring out without bringing the with the pinpointed example. I can give you a broad spectrum for you to understand the kind of family values which the West follows. We have started following that. We have stopped believing in joint family system. We don't want to live with our parents. We don't want to take care of our parents. Those kind of wrong things have set in. And the second thing is, now this is also one more thing I'll talk about. But we feel that we can talk anything in the public and express that as freedom, whether even and things which are against our nation also, we label them as I have free speech as my constitutional power given to me. Free speech doesn't mean that you can speak any nonsense thing and use that as freedom of speech or something like that. No, things should be, you are living in a country, you should have minimum respect for the country. You should, country is giving you so many things, and we should have minimum things to be given back to the country. Have that respect. The third thing I'm talking about is the kind of family system we are now falling into, in terms of marriage and married values and all those things. You can see around in the society, we have started adapting all those things blindly. Remember, those things are wrong facets of the Western world. They are not going to help you develop. They are not going to help you grow at all. Rather, they are going to push you back into animalistic life, if tendency, so to say, and make you go down the path in terms of vertical growth. I'm talking about, you are going to go down the path. So when we start to follow such wrong things also, they have actually given, what you call that, destroyed our society much more than actually what they have given us to gain in any form. But why should such things be followed? The 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 portion we need to understand is, they may be developed nations, no doubt about that, but these, everything in what we have started looking into them is not those things which have made them develop. I spoke to you certain things just few minutes before. Their focus towards action, their commitment towards action, there are actually, what you call that, making ensure that action from right from the beginning to the end is completely followed through. One thing I'm definitely going to bring out, positive side of the Western world also, their systems are very good. Very good in the sense, I'm talking about their governmental system, the what government allows as facilities and all, they're really very good. You don't have to, the what you call that, the loopholes for corruption are very very minuscule. And one of the reason, they are committed to the what they do. Those things, it is worthy of looking up also, but not everything needs to be followed. Not everything is correct what they do. That is one thing which we need to understand. We have accepted them as developed nation. Definitely, yes, since we accepted them as developed nation, that is the first kind of acceptance of greatness we have done. Now, we considered them as great, but we considered wrong factors as the attributing factors for or their greatness. Since we have wrong factors, wrong factors we have considered as the attributing factors for their greatness, we have started following all those wrong attributes I speak about. Supreme consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna says, at a personal level, okay, at a personal level, the best way of contributing towards nourishment of the society is, the best way, the best contribution at a personal level of each one of us for nourishment of the society is that we should beautify our personality. We should beautify our way of action. We should beautify our habits, our way of handling situations around us. Why? Because remember, each one of us, now this is a word I'm using, each one of us, at whichever level we are looked up by somebody or the other. Now, one example. Now, this is very, it's not easy to understand. The thing is, if I am a parent, I am looked up by my kids in terms of what I do, how I act. Now, just imagine if, as parent, both husband and wife keep on fighting every now and then. Remember one thing: children are looking up to you. But just remember one thing, if one fights and other does not react, remember that also children are looking up to us. Now they will automatically understand. I have heard children saying that, my father or my mother, they are great. Why? Because this is how they act. Each one of us are looked up by somebody or the other in terms of following us, in terms of our greatness. Now that is one thing we need to remember. How we act, how we react, how we transact in the world is something which is very much visible for everyone. And a man will follow what is being seen by him. Whatever is seen, whatever is noticed only can be followed. That is why some internal factors I spoke about, they are not seen outside, so they never got followed. What is seen is the only thing we will end up following. Now, the state of the three gunas as in us, our nature or our habits, is something which cannot be seen, but how we react externally is something which can be clearly seen. So that which is seen in us, remember, that becomes a topic of following by people who look up to us. you know if our level of three gunas which is within us becomes in terms of visible to people outside, in terms of expression, remember, or our habits or our nature become visible to people through our exception, and whether our self control is something which becomes visible to people, or our wisdom is something which becomes visible to people outside, remember, those things also will become a topic or subject of being followed by others in terms of how we are acting. Now, following can only happen, and or imitation can only happen, and about those things which are visible by people outside. That is why Bhagwan has used this word, yad yad acharati shrestha. Bhagwan said how great men in the society, how they act and how they react. Acharati, how they walk about in the society, how they transact in the society, how they act about in the society, how they react in the society. Acharati. Now, how we act is such thing in that, behind the action. So there are some things which are behind the scene also. Now, behind each of our action, and what are things which are behind each of our action, which leads us to form our action in a particular way. Behind our action, behind the scene, the things which work for our action to become or fructify outside is the culture we have cultivated, the habits we have sustained, the wisdom we have developed, the the way we have managed or been able to keep our levels of three gunas within us. These are the things which are not visible outside, but behind the scenes they become the combined factors for us to react outside. Now I'm just giving you one example for you to understand a little bit more in detail how it works. Is the thing is, if I am tamasic in nature, I'm giving you an example. If I'm tamasic in nature, remember, for small things I may become angry and upset, and that angry and upset mood of mine will express in my violent reactions also, isn't it? That is something which we all need to take back and think, what are the things which are working behind the scenes for us, and seeing how we act in the world. I'm just giving you an example now to understand. Some people, when they act, they some people say, he is from such a great family, his action is completely in line with the kind of lineage which he is part of, And it is something which I can see that, they saw how this person act, and they estimated that this person must be the child of this particular family, must be belonging to this particular family. Now, in the context of Ramayana, I'm talking about our history called Ramayana, I'm talking about Vashish ji. Rishi Vashish ji, again and again, and attributes the way Bhagwan Ram reacts to different situations as something that, the greatness of the lineage which he is part of. Raghuvansh, and he's a Raghuvanshi. Raghuvanshi is, what more you will expect. The you see the way they act, the polished behavior they have, the polished kind of way of acting, the great way of leading a kingdom. It's in the genes of Raghuvanshis. It's in the blood of Raghuvanshis, because that's how all their ancestors have great names. Now, by the by the act or by the reaction of a person, it is established that this is an expression of this person's level of growth within this, how he has maintained himself within, or how he has developed him over a period of time. A person's great nature is expressed as, by way of his or her reaction towards situations and things in the society. And if we improve our habit also, remember, that is also going to help us polish our way of acting and reacting in the society. No, the kind of habits we desire are to adapt or develop in us, we have to first set them as a goal in our life. We have to set ourselves for those things first. And remember, as far as again and again, when we set such things as a goal in our life, remember, slowly, gradually, it will become part and parcel of my nature, and it will start getting established and rooted in my nature. Now, for improving our habit, we will not have to do any separate effort at all. The only thing is, first set yourself and slowly, gradually work towards what you have set as a goal for yourself in terms of improvement. Bhagwan says, Shrestha yad yad acharati. And in this, what is the duty of all of us? That our duty of all of us is that we would make some research in terms of who we can accept as great in our life. We must work towards that. In this statement, Shrestha yad yad acharati, remember, there is duty also hidden in this statement for us. And remember, this is the way we can and develop auspicious kind of way of action, auspicious kind of behavior in our life. And remember, this is the gateway of auspiciousness in our life. That is one thing which we need to understand. You know, uh, if in our life we have accepted some people as great, remember, then we have already opened the gateway for establishing good habits and cultivating good habits in us, cultivating good nature in us. And uh, remember, it is for sure that if you have accepted somebody as great, and that person, you have done due diligence in terms of understanding why that person is great, and you have set somebody as a higher at a higher altar, remember, you have already opened the gateway for establishing good nature in you. You already have opened the gateway for, or cultivating in good habits in you, walking the correct path in you. But many a times, what happens in most of us is that our intellect is incapable, well, to accept somebody as great. It is our incapability. It is our inefficiency. It is the inefficiency of our intellect. It is the incapability of our intellect to accept somebody as great. Now, sometimes what happens is, sometimes it is true that there is nothing great in somebody to accept as great. That is, I'm not talking about that. But many a times what happens is, our negative tendencies, our negative nature is so strong in us that we start to see fault in anything and everything we see around us. We try to search for fault in everything, and we don't even recognize this fact that by looking at faults and errors in everything around us, we are slowly, gradually making it as part of habit by practicing it every now and then. Every now and then, if we start to search for faults in everything, remember, it is going to become part and parcel of your nature. Even if somebody great walks right in front of you, your negative nature is not going to let that person and be accepted by your intellect as oh, great at all. Many a times it is seen that the fault is not at the person. There are person who is great only. Many people have accepted that person as great, but many a times the fault lies in us, in our own negative nature, in our own negative tendency. Now, in our scriptures, in Sanatan Dharma scriptures, such kind of an intellect which is incapable of developing faith in anyone and is called as an ineffective and wasteful intellect. It's called an incapable intellect. Now, remember one thing, to such a person, even if Adi Guru Bhagwan Shiva himself comes down, even if he comes down as a guru for such a person cannot be taught at all, because he is so incapable. Now, this ability of faith in us, in our intellect, the capability of faith in our intellect, actually comes as a result of punyas of many life, of merits earned in many life. It comes as part of that. Now, many a times you will see with people around us also, there are people who try to glorify they having not faith in anyone. Ashraddha, their Ashraddha, they try to glorify. There are so many of them in the society. Look at me. I don't, trust any such people at all. I don't know what they're talking. I think I am the greatest person. They should follow me. Sometimes we try to glorify our foolishness, so to say, of not accepting anyone. You are at loss. Nothing goes for the guru and rishi at all. They've already reached a particular level. And they make their non-acceptance of anybody as great, they try to give that, that proves that I'm intellectual. There are people who have heard speaking like that. Those people who themselves say lie at every at every opportunity available. There are people who speak lie only, for small things also they speak lie. Now remember, such a person, and the biggest problem or the biggest or disaster with such a person is that if we speak lie at every instance, even those things are not required, it has become our habit in such a way that since we speak lie at every instance, we will not be able to believe anyone. Even if someone sitting in front of us is speaking pure truth, because we are lying every now and then, we will not be able to trust that person at all. Those people who are completely ungrateful, remember, those people cannot understand the gratitude shown by people in front of them, even if they are near and dear ones. Why? Because they are themselves completely ungrateful people. Kritagna. They cannot accept anybody as great at all, and they have no gratitude towards everyone. When such people with complete lack of gratitude, they see others expressing gratitude in front of them, they think, what's wrong with such people? and they're not able to believe that at all. Those people who have never ever given and or helped anyone in their life, have never ever given company to anyone and in their life, or never helped anyone, remember, those people will never be able to trust us, those who help them without any reason. you know those people can never trust those people at all, and this such person can never actually be of help to anyone at all. But remember, that is why one of the worst habits to cultivate, one of the worst things in our character, is definitely a facet called ashraddha, or having no faith in anything at all. It's a very very big lacking in our habit, and trust me, it is going to be a great loss for us in our life. And what happens is, this ashraddha, or this having not having faith in anyone, becomes one of the biggest source of walking the wrong path. And uh, remember, with walking the wrong path or doing wrong things in life, if emanates this attitude of having no faith in anyone, or complete lack of faith. And from good acts in our life, remember, emanates faith in our life. These are two things we need to understand in terms of our own nature. Those people who help others, those people who help many around them, remember, they always believe that everyone around them is also helpful. So our vision, that is how we will see the society around us. I told you in one of my podcasts also, a person who has the habit of stealing will never be able to trust anyone at all, even if he has people in his own home. He'll not be able to trust them at all. Those people who talk truth all the time, remember, they consider whatever is said in front of them also as truth. They have the capability to do that. you know uh, this aspect called faith, our Sanatan Dharma scripture also accepts, our Vedas accept this as one of the biggest wealth one can possess. The amount of faith in your heart is one of the biggest wealth one can possess. That is why I told you in my earlier podcast, even if you are not able to do anything spiritually, the minimum you should contribute to yourself is at least correct your faith before you leave this world. That is the minimum contribution you can do, because trust me, with wrong kind of faith, how many lives you are going to waste, you have no idea at all. So remember, this is one of the things we need to remember, that this word called faith is a big factor, and Bhagwan himself said in Bhagavad Gita, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Now the faith actually is a proof that if somebody has faith in them, remember, it is a big proof that this person has got, or nice thought process in his intellect, sad buddhi. This person has got good kind of behavior and action in his life, and reactions in his life. It is a proof of sadachar actually. That is one thing we need to remember. With faith, remember, we always have this thought at the back of the mind that I am dependent on God, on Guru. I always want to grow. I will always be conscious of this fact that I have someone who I am being helped all the time. Now, for a man who has no faith at all, remember, nothing good happens in the life of such a person at all, or such a person can never follow anyone. In case one person wants to continuously work on their growth, or then the best thing one should do is that, always be in the association of great men in your society, great men in the world, great people in the world whose greatness is established. Then only when we, associate ourselves with such people, then only some amount of greatness will flow through in our own actions, in our own bosom also. One thing I told you in one of my sessions before, if you recollect, is that one thing which we do not understand, the biggest thing which impacts, which leaves an impact on all of our life, is our association. Who we associate with, we must take utmost care, be vigilant about who we are associating ourselves with. The biggest, irony of life is, the biggest mishap of life is, even though the biggest impact of thing in our life is our association, but this is the area where we are least vigilant and least alert. We, associate ourselves with anyone and anything. We walk around with anyone and any people, anything in our life, and think that we are going to grow in our life. You are highly mistaken. So association and is something which is a big thing which impacts in our life. So if you really want to improve in your life, really want to grow in your life, associate yourself or be associated with great people around you. And then when you associate yourself with such great people, then only you'll be able to see their how they act in life, how they react in situation, and all those things, whether it is situation, and if even if the situation is good or bad, how they react, you'll be able to only see if you have associated yourself with them. When we talk about situation, whether it is favorable or whether it is unfavorable, there is not much difference in that at all. And what we need to see is, in adverse situations, what is the kind of reaction of great people or rishis in our life, that, and what is the kind of reaction of me in such situation. And the biggest example of that is Bhagwan Ram. Bhagwan Ram was told that he's being coronated as a king the next day, and the next moment he was told to walk into forest for an exile for 14 years. When he was told that he's being coronated as a king in the next day, at that time he was not gaga over it, he was not singing and dancing over it, and he was not overtly joyed by that. And when he was told to go into the forest, he was not sitting and crying there at all. He was not devastated. He was not feeling devastated at all. He had the same reaction in both the scenes. That is the greatness of Bhagwan Ram. Bhagwan Ram, and that is why his name is Maryada Purushottam. He came to teach us how we can live in our life. Situations will come and go, but our reaction to them will show whether we are higher in life or whether we are lower in life. Now, first thing is that we should accept somebody as great, and once we have accepted somebody as great, then only we'll start to follow them. That is why satsang, this word, association with great saints in terms of their jnana yagya, attending their satsangs and all, is a big result giving thing in our life, is one of the greatest tool to improve ourselves in life. Hani kusang susangati lahu. Kusang means bad association is the biggest kind of disaster in our life, and sat sangati is the greatest gain in our life. Goswami ji, he has said this much also: mati kirati gati bhuti bhalai, jo jehi jatan jahan jehi pai, janab satsang prabhavu. In Ramcharitmanas, Balkand, and Goswami Tulsidas ji has said this, that oh, you do not know what kind of benefit you are going to reap with associating yourself with good things. And if you have associated yourself with a guru, and started following the teachings and all, trust me, you have already invested in your life. What many are missing, you have done that already. And trust me, I'm telling you, I've already told this to you before also. You may accumulate any amount of wealth in this life, physical wealth I'm talking about, all that you have to leave here and go. But this wealth of spiritual knowledge is going to go with you life after life, life after life. That is one thing which we all must recognize. That is one of the reason why in this world also many in the same situation have got different reactions, because one is at a different level and other is at a different level. A man is definitely going to follow. And if we give the example of a great man of great wisdom, and if we take the example of that, then remember one thing, it is going to be a great gain for us. We're definitely going to learn. And here Bhagwan has said here, if I keep myself at the place of itaro janaha in this verse, what Bhagwan has said here, I should keep myself in the place of itaro janaha, and I should keep somebody at the place of shreshtaha, as a great person. And if I do that, if I keep somebody as at the place of greatness in my life, remember, whether that person, and maybe for family reasons or something, if I keep somebody is great, somebody in the family also say, my elder brother is amazing, he's just amazing, the way he has supported the family, the way he has sacrificed for the family, the way he has kept family first over his personal life, is worth appreciating. So that is one thing which we try to see when we accept somebody as great. Now, if I place myself at the at the level of being great for someone, now remember this thing, I can place myself in the place of itaro jana also. I can be one of the person that others can also look up to me also. If I keep myself at the place of shresht or great person, whether it is for my younger brother also, then it becomes necessary for me to do karma yoga. It becomes necessary for me that I should become a role model for that person. Now, we can place ourselves in either of these positions. And remember, some of us, I told you, all of us are looked up by someone or the other. Most of us, you will see that we are at both places also. For someone, we are at one place, someone, and we are at other place. In front of us, many could be great, and for many for some of them at least, we could also be placed at the level of being great, and we can also be accepted as great. We may be accepted by somebody else as great also. Bhagwan Ram proves this fact that in extreme adverse situation also, we can carve out an intellect which is not shaken at all. We can carve out an intellect which doesn't get disturbed at all. We can carve out an intellect which stops getting carried away in adverse situations at all. We can keep equanimity at adversities also, is what Bhagwan Ram's life shows us. He became a proof for this whole world about this factor, which means what it's not, does not mean that Bhagwan Ram never became angry on anyone. It doesn't mean that Bhagwan Ram never got excited with anything. And it's just that according to the kind of situation he faces, he acted according to that. When Ravan was in front of Bhagwan Ram, he definitely became angry with him also for the act he has done. Why? Because he had insulted Sita ji. Now, we don't accept Lakshmanji as a praman for this thing. Why? The Indian society does not accept Lakshmanji as a proof of many kind of reactions and in terms of situations. But yes, society accepts Bhagwan Ram as a proof of how to act and react in many situations. And his way of reacting in situation is something which we all look up to and we follow also, becomes followable by us. Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjun, you also must do something for nourishment or protection of the society around you. Why? Because it is a duty of each one of us. And it seems that, Arjun is not very excited, and even till now, after all the teaching. That is why Bhagwan is trying to explain to Arjun, and to make sure that his example is correct, firmly placed in the mind of Arjun. Now Bhagwan is going to take up his own example. Now, this is a point which I want to talk about. I may touch the next verse and may take up the detailed meaning in the next one. But I want to talk about this now. The next verse, Bhagwan is going to take up his own example for Arjun. Arjun, maybe you may not have understood Janakji so much. You have not met him personally. You have not been around him at that time. So maybe you may not have got that example correctly. But I can give you my own example now. Now, to explain a point, to explain a principle, well, giving an example of a great person is easy. A man of greatness is easy because he's known by the society already. But it is not easy to give our own example to anyone. Giving our own example is an extremely difficult thing. Why? Because about people who have achieved greatness in the society or reached great levels in the society, we may end up knowing about them from the word of mouth of people also. We may listen about them from the society and people around us. Many times we may read about them. Many times we may hear about them in terms of stories and other things also. Many people must have written their biography also. We must have heard their biography also. But remember, whatever is written and heard will always be good only. Why? Because good things only we will write. When we write the autobiography, in the autobiography you're not going to write the bad things at all, right? When you see a live person in front of you, now remember one thing. When you see a live person in front of you, you will see all good, bad, and everything also. You cannot, cut out the wrong things and only present the good thing. But when you talk to someone, or when you speak to someone about, or you share to someone, about the stories, you can only pick up the good example and give. When you write a book also, what we see is only the good things about a person. But when somebody is live in front of us, remember, nothing gets hidden. Good, bad, everything is seen by that person. That is why it becomes very difficult to give the example of one's own. When a live person is in front of us, remember, his or her every act and every reaction is right in front of us. So, and we cannot fabricate our own example in front of anyone. Why? Because it is visible to that person. you know and we cannot say wrong things also, or in terms of we cannot act wrong also. Why? Because that becomes an adverse way to adapt wrong things by the person who is following us. When a live person is present in front of us, one thing which is there, which goes along with it, is that many times there is possibility that how this when live person reacts or how he talks, it's not that there are things which are wrong for us, but there can be things which are not favorable for us. And oh, we cannot say that the person will only do good for us and only speaks what is good for me. That person has to act and react according to his situation. So there may not be things which are wrong for us, but there can definitely be things which are not favorable for us. And we cannot say those things which are said by this person or acted by this person as something which is wrong. but they don't suit us. Why? Because it is not according to my own interests. It is not according to my own nature and habit. Now, when such a situation comes, then what happens? Our mind, you know, becomes incapable to make that person's life as an example for us, is not capable to pick up the example of such person, not capable to who adapt the example of such a person. It becomes incapable for that. That is why, you know it is very, very important that, oh, we must have somebody who is great, whose greatness is established. We must have somebody, such person in our life. And remember, it is very scarce, it is very rare. It's not easy to find such people, so to say. Now, Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananji once said that, oh, it is very difficult to, have a Guru Buddhi in a live person. Why? Once, when Swamiji was walking with Puja Gurudev on a wheelchair, then Puja Gurudev asked him that, do you meditate? Yes, Swamiji, I do meditate. Who do you meditate upon? So he replied, Gurudev, on you. Then at that time, Puja Gurudev said, never ever meditate upon a living Guru. Why? Because many a times, living Guru, for or lifting his disciple, have to come down to a level which may or may not be acceptable by you. And when such things happen, your faith in him may shake up and fall off, and you will not be able to gain much. So that is one thing which is very, very important. And that, Puja Gurudev said that, since it is not easy to have accept somebody as living as a guru in our life, that is why, worship, idol worship expanded in such a way in Sanatan Dharma. Idol worship expanded in such a way in Sanatan Dharma. Why? Because it was not easy to accept a living person as a guru. Tapovanji Maharaj, had a very, very strong kind of a nature. He was very strict with his students. Puja Gurudev has also, there are examples of Puja Gurudev where he has seen the strictness of Swami Tapovanji. Now, when we read about him, remember, we don't read that aspect of his way of acting with his student. We don't see that. It doesn't come in front of us at all. What comes in front of us is only that which has actually helped the student and those people who have written the biography. If that would have come in front of us, remember, it could have gone on against our nature. It could have gone as unfavorable for us. That is why it is not easy to give an example of a living guru. Now, Supreme Consciousness Bhagavan Krishna, taking up his own example, is telling Arjun, I am standing right in front of you. Look at me, my friend. Look at me. In this world, there is nothing in this world, nothing at all in this world, which is to be achieved by me, which is a praptavya for me. Why? Because everything belongs to me. Now remember, who is he talking to? Arjun. And I am telling you, Arjun was very, very close to Bhagavan Krishna. When you read Mahabharata, you will understand he was very close to Bhagavan Krishna, not only at the time of war, since childhood. He always used to walk around him. I've always used to think, I don't know what kind of a grace and blessings Arjun had to have Bhagavan Krishna with him all the time. It is not something which can be imagined by someone. It is not something which you can project in front of you. It is not something which you can dream. What did Arjun do to be around Bhagavan Krishna all the time? He used to always walk with him, Keshav, 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 always around him. He was so much associated, attached to Bhagavan Krishna, that trust me, his attachment gave him Bhagavad Gita in the war field. I want to say, how great it will be to have Bhagavan Krishna in your life as your full-time partner, as your full-time friend, as your full-time association. I don't think there can be anything greater than that. You see what Arjun gained with that. Now, the thing is, Arjun always used to be with Bhagavan Krishna, and he was a great devotee of him. And that is why he used to accept whatever was told to him by Bhagavan. He used to listen to him very carefully. Huh? He never used to negate what is told by Bhagavan Krishna. He may ask question, but he will never negate what is being told. For the people of the world, there are many things which are raised as a question about Bhagavan Krishna, but Arjuna had nothing. And I'm giving you certain things which many people talk about also, had questions in life, that Bhagavan, why did he not fight with Jarasan? Why did Bhagavan make Dwarka made of completely gold? Why Bhagwan had to do cheating at many times to in the war also and in many places. Now many people who listen to these things, it becomes difficult to understand Bhagwan as Bhagwan. Now I tell you one thing very honestly, to understand Bhagwan as Bhagwan also, I would use the word, too much purity of intellect is required to understand Bhagwan as Bhagwan. Unless and until we have purity of intellect, we cannot understand Bhagwan's Leela as Bhagwan's Leela. Whenever I take up Bhagavad somewhere, I'm going to bring out this aspect. Every aspect of Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna, when he incarnated on the earth, is worth worshipping. Right from the childhood up to the time he went back to Golok Vrindavan. He went back to Golok. Till the time he went back there to the Vaikunt Lok, every act of Bhagwan Krishna, every act. The only thing which is there is we have to develop the right vision to understand this. Now, those people who do not have this right kind of understanding, they will not be able to accept this fact at all. Now Bhagwan further says that what should I talk about this is world, this Prithvi Loka, this earth, in the three worlds, so to say, in the three worlds, in Trishu Lokeshu, there is nothing in this three world which is not achieved by me, as of now. Everything is already achieved by me. Everything I've already gained. That is why I have nothing more achievable in my life. The decision is, since I do not have anything achievable in my life, I have nothing to achieve because everything belongs to me already. That is why I have no duty at all in my life. Because I told you in the earlier episode, only those who have praptavya will have got kartavya. Only those who have got achievables in their life will only have the plethora of duties for them. But even though I have nothing achievable in this life, I have no duty in my life at all. Still, look at me. I am continuously acting. I am continuously working. Aham varte eva cha karmani. I am continuously working. I am continuously acting. I'll read this particular verse. We'll see the literal meaning and then we'll take up the detailed meaning in the next session. Verse number 22, chapter 3. न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यम् त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यम् वर्त एव च कर्मणि न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यम् त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यम् वर्त एव च कर्मणि. Now, Supreme Consciousness, Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjun, Arjun, Name Partha, He Partha, Name Asti Kartavyam Trishu Lokeshu Kinchana. I have no duty left to be done in the three worlds, so to say. Nana Avaptamavyam Varta Evacha Karmani. I have nothing achievable left in this life. There is nothing which is not with me already. There is nothing which I have left to be achieved, and nothing achievable left because everything I have already achieved. So, Varta Evacha Karmani. Still, you look at me that I am continuously acting. Arjun must have asked Bhagwan, since you have nothing achievable, as you said, why do you even act? I want to know this thing. Probably Arjun must have expressed this question in his face. So Bhagwan is going to answer this one. Bhagwan, I know your state. That is why I'm asking you, why you have to act? Bhagwan says, I act only for nourishment of the world, nourishment of this society. Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan says, my act is only for the nourishment and protection of the society. My knowledge and my level, the level I am there, Bhagwan Krishna says, people cannot see from their naked eyes, people cannot understand, and they can only see the way I act. Now, even though I have achieved everything in this world, there is nothing left to be achieved by me in this particular world. If I sit idle, then people will start following a wrong example, so to say. That is one of the things which is the greatest responsibility of a jnani also. The level of a man of realization is not visible to anyone around him, not even and his devotees, not even his disciples, not even his students. His habits, his state of three gunas, nothing is visible to us, nothing is pratyaksha for us. The only thing which is visible to us is how he acts in the world. you know uh, by a man of realization, all the actions which are done as part of his prarabdha, the actions which have started to fructify in this particular life, they all become the cause of nourishment. They all become the cause of nourishment or protection of this society. Bhagwan says, in the continuing verses, Bhagwan says, whatever incarnations I take, whatever avatars I take in this creation, remember, in all those avatars, I have always been placed at the level of being great. You know, uh, in the village of Nanda Baba, where Bhagwan had grown up, actually, Nanda Baba was the head of a particular village. He was a mukhya of a village. That's why, his son and automatically becomes part of a great lineage. So his son will always be looked up as part of a great family. And then Bhagwan showed such leelas, such kind of acts actually, that people also start to generate the feeling of having a feeling of being an abode for them. That is why Bhagwan's leelas here got established as part of being great, this part of Bhagwan's greatness. Bhagwan was already great, right? And he is not devoid of any kind of wealth also, and his sweetness. That is why Adaram Maduram, that Madhurashtakam is there for Bhagwan. Everything about him is very sweet, and Bhagwan did not lose one opportunity to express his Aishwarya, means express his glory or express his sweetness in terms of expression of his behavior. When he went to Mathura also, there also the same thing happened. In one day itself, his name got spread into the entire Mathura that some great kid has come. So that much for today. A rest we'll see in the next session. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ तत्सत्